On July 5th, 2019, at approximately 8:22 p.m. Pacific Time, a 7.1 earthquake struck Ridgecrest, California, which is approximately about 150 miles from where I'm sitting right now. The following clip is going to show you guys how my tank right here, which is my main tank in the living room, reacted to that earthquake. Now keep in mind what you want to look at is the light above the tank as well as the water level in the tank. You will see movement there. First you're going to see movement on the light, you're going to see a little bit of a sway, and then you will actually see the water movement. So let's go take a look at that clip and stay tuned for afterwards. I'm going to give you my suggestions on how you guys can prepare for earthquakes and other natural disasters. Hello, welcome to Aquarium Thoughts, and I'm Dave. That clip right there was from my security camera system I have up. This is the view from my living room where you can actually see the main tank. As you can see, there was a lot of movement in the light and some movement in my aquarium. I was actually on vacation at the time in Lake Tahoe, California, so I wasn't around here to actually feel the earthquake, but I did get news, and I actually checked my security camera and I actually saw the movement on the tank. Now it wasn't a lot, mainly because it was 150 miles. I know it was a 7.1 earthquake, but the distance kind of reduced the strength of the earthquake. If this earthquake struck closer, I probably would have seen a lot more movement, more water on the floor, maybe even some damage to my aquariums. One thing to keep in mind as well is when I left for my trip, I didn't really fill any more water into my tanks. If I did do that, I probably would have got some water on the floor. I mean, there was movement on there. A lot of the movement did kind of come up high. So basically, that's one thing I wanted to show off on how this tank actually reacted during that earthquake. Now, there's a few things that we should be doing to prepare. One thing I did on this main tank was when I did set it up, the new stand, I did make sure to actually secure it to the wall. As you can see in this video that I done previously, this video is from when I first set this up. I did show you guys on how I had secured with these brackets. I got these from Home Depot. I'm not quite sure what the name of the item is. All it is, it's a strip of metal, basically has holes in it. Basically I bent it to actually attach it to the wall, to attach to my stand and the wall. That way I didn't have any movement forward, because I wasn't really necessarily worried about what it did in an earthquake, but what it did is just being in the living room. I didn't want the stand to topple over. I know my boys do love running around in here. It does shake things up here and there, and I just want to make sure it was secure for that as well as earthquakes. Now there's still a lot of things I could probably be doing to actually make sure this is even more secure. I could probably also secure this part as well as the tank to the back wall as well, but that's one thing I haven't got into. I might do that eventually, because this 7.1 earthquake in Ridgecrest, California, which was about 150 miles away, is a little bit of a wake-up call for all of us in Southern California to make sure we are prepared. And no matter where you're at, you should be prepared for whatever could strike you. So if you're in an earthquake zone, basically in the Ring of Fire. Make sure you're prepared. Another area in the US you want to make sure that you're prepared is also the Midwest, about the New Madrid fault zone, which runs from Missouri up to Illinois. You always want to make sure you're prepared there as well, because yes, you can get earthquakes there as well, and also some major ones. Back in the I think it was like 1811 to 1812, you guys over there in the Midwest and Missouri area around New Madrid actually experienced a series of 3 earthquakes that were around 8.0. So yes, you guys can get them too. So you want to make sure you do secure your tank stands. Make sure it's at least going to give you a better chance of actually surviving an earthquake. That's one thing I do recommend. A few other things that you probably want to have on hand during any kind of a disaster, whether it's just your tank breaking or an earthquake rattles things. Basically, I would suggest carrying buckets. Make sure you have enough buckets, because basically if an earthquake comes and it breaks the aquarium, you could actually use the buckets to actually hopefully get some water in it to actually save some of the fish. Now, of course, in these situations, your first priority is probably yourself, and make sure that you guys have enough water to drink as well. But if you have any spare water they could actually use, make sure you fill up those buckets and put the fish in there if you can. Another thing you want to have on hand would be an emergency air pump, preferably one that does run on batteries, because if you're doing an earthquake or other natural disasters, you're probably not going to have power to your house, so you're going to need something to actually power air filter into your pump, whether it be a generator or battery powered air pumps. You want to make sure you have that on hand as well. There's a few other things you could probably get as well. I'd actually like your guys' suggestions down below in the comments. What would you have on hand to prepare yourself for something bad like a natural disaster in your area? What would you keep on hand? What would be the first thing you'd grab in that case? I also want to hear your stories as well. Have you been through a natural disaster? Tell us your stories in the comments below, and let us know on how that turned out for you, your aquariums, your fish, and so forth like that. So basically, I just wanted to show you my video. At the end of this, I'm also going to replay it, that way you can see it again. Take a look at it, take a closer look. One thing to notice as well is take a look at the movement of my fish in the tank as well. You can definitely tell that they were startled during the event. I mean, take a look a little bit before. I mean, you see it's very minimal swimming around, but once when the water movement started moving, a lot more fish actually did pick up and start swimming around. So they were actually affected in the shake. They felt it, and they were kind of startled by it. So anyways, as usual, keep researching, keep learning, and happy fish keeping. Thank you.